Your observations so far of the offensive line and where you guys are at so far in camp?
Yeah, so I think we really have stepped it up physically. We've just brought it day in and day out, I feel like, and we're trending in the right direction. So I'm pretty proud of our group for that specifically.
What do you think is the biggest difference in this offensive line group now versus last year?
It's hard to say, and it's not really a fair comparison, but I think we're a lot more confident in our schematics. And then, like I said, that will lead to playing fast and more physical, and I think that's really going to help us establish a run game, which eventually will open up the pass game, et cetera.
Does it feel different for you? Obviously, you have an AVT beside you last year. He's a guy that kind of locks down that left tackle spot. Now with kind of rotating musical chairs there beside you, how different has it been for you this fall?
Yeah, so obviously playing next to any first rounder, it's a tremendous help. But I'm confident in our guys and in our rotation to tackle and everywhere across all 5 positions. So I've been proud of the boys so far and how we've developed over the last few days.
How would you kind of assess what's happening at the left tackle position beside you?
I think it's a really good competition. Like I said, I'm confident in all those boys. We'll just see, I guess, when it comes to game week, what coach decides to do. But whatever decision's made, I'm confident Coach knows what he's doing, and he's going to put us in the best position to win.
Now, you got some opportunities during the spring game, and you played a little bit of left tackle out here. Do you feel comfortable out there? Where do you kind of feel the best right now?
I mean, obviously, because of my experience at guard, I feel more comfortable there. It's been a little bit of time before I've been a tackle my freshman year. And like you said, I've had a little bit of opportunity to rep a little bit throughout spring and fall. But right now, I'd say I'm more confident in guard. But every day, I'm just working on my craft and trying to get better, whether that's at tackle or guard. So,
what do you think you bring to the offensive line group with your experience?
I would just say veteran leadership. I mean, that was really huge. Me coming in as a freshman, I was like a chicken with my head cut off. I had no clue what's going on, coming from a small town program to a huge institution like this with a rich history of football. It was really I really looked up to the older guys like Toa, Viane, Nico Fala, and they really helped get me along as a freshman. And I think I now have that opportunity and I want to say, I guess, commitment to those younger guys as well. So I think that's what I bring to this room. So,
what's for you? What is the hardest part of the transition from the interior to tackle?
I mean, just being at guard, you're obviously covered, so it's more of, I'd say, a physical game than a spatial like awareness. So at tackle, it's just you're a lot of one-on-ones with some of the best athletes on the field, Drake Jackson, Corey Foreman, etc. So a little tougher, I think, just because of the nature of the position.
What have you thought of Jonah Monheim playing in that position and Courtland Ford? Those two guys individually, what kind of stands out about each of them?
It's hard to say. They're both. I really like them both as people off the field. Hang out with both of them a lot. Really got to become close with Jonah, especially over the year. And then, like the year he was being recruited out of high school his last year, and he was already committed here. And I was dealing with my ankle injury. I really had time to kind of just hang out with him while everyone was practicing. So I really developed a relationship with him early on. And then Courtland, just like I've said, we've been practicing all spring together basically, and so we've gotten really close just because of just being together and whatnot.
You know, there's been a lot of talk among the coaches about how much Jonah really took a leap in the spring and then in the summer too. From your perspective, where's that leap most obvious with him?
Confidence for sure, I'd say. He's one of the smarter guys in the room, football savvy, but I'd say he's more confident in himself. His strength, his body, he's really put on weight, and I think Coach Steiner really helped bring him up to speed. And so I'm proud of him for that and his commitment to his body and just becoming a mature football player.
What's the biggest step the offensive line needs to make for that run game to take that step forward?
I would just say physicality, and I think we're bringing it. I mean, you guys sit up there at the Aquatic Center and watch us, and I feel confident in myself in saying that I feel like we're a pretty physical group right now. So I think that's really going to help us out.
How much do you think the strength and conditioning changes kind of helped foster that little bit more physicality?
I would just say we're probably more conditioned, or at least it seems kind of universal around the room that we feel the most conditioned that we've had in a while, if not all time. So I think that really helps us, because when we start wearing down defenses, that's when we really step on the pedal in terms of the run game. And so I think that really is going to open up a lot of doors for us here in the future.
What's the biggest difference with Clay McGuire being in the room? You know, what has he brought to your guys' group?
Intensity. I mean, and he's really pushed the physicality. And if you look at it too, like, all of us are at practice every day. I think we're the only position group right now who has every single one out here on the field practicing. So we pride ourselves in that, and I think it has to do with the leadership from Coach McGuire and his commitment to pushing us. And so we're thankful for that. And so I'd say.
His focus on technique, has there been anything where that's really stood out as far as technique-wise that he's taught a little bit differently?
I mean, I would just say he's just obviously in ways, but I would say his biggest. That's tough for me to say. It's just, at the end of the day, football is pretty similar across the board, and so. Whether that's with our previous coaches or now Coach McGuire, it's pretty similar. But I would say his commitment to having us be physical, I think that's like one of the biggest things he brings to the table for us.
And the last thing, you guys have done a lot of mixing and matching. You've done some pairs together where you and Courtland Ford have done some things with the first team, and the right side has done some things with the second team. How is the continuity coming along? Do you feel really comfortable with Courtland, or are you starting to get really comfortable with anyone else kind of beside you?
I'm really comfortable with all of them. We really continuity was one of the themes of the summer for the O-line. It's all of us freshmen through redshirt seniors. We all hung out over the summer and really bonded and got really close and kind of built that relationship. And Coach is a big believer in that, Coach McGuire, in fostering relationships with each other and fellowship with one another. So over the summer we had that opportunity, and I think that really helped now. So like when we do have mix-ups and matchups or whatnot, there's confidence around the board because we know what that person's going to bring to the table because we spent the time with them and we know how their personalities and et cetera. So.